The following may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
$130 cell site batteries valued at $10 million seized in Riverton. Members of the Constabulary Specialized Operations Branch recovered 130 cell site batteries during an intelligence-driven operation in the Riverton area of St. Andrew on Wednesday, January 27th. The Specialized Operations Team reportedly swooped down on an area in Riverton after following strong investigative leads into reports of stolen cell site batteries. The rechargeable dry cell batteries, which have an estimated value of approximately $10 million, were reportedly stolen from the cell sites across the island. The constabulary force is advising citizens that the removal of these batteries from telecommunications cell sites is a serious threat to our national security, as citizens could be faced with challenges trying to reach emergency services should there be a power outage. Canada's Prime Minister suspends flights to all Caribbean destinations. The Caribbean's travel and tourism sector was dealt another potentially devastating blow on Friday, when Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the suspension of flights to all Caribbean destinations and Mexico. This travel ban will stay in place until April 30th, 2021, with Jamaica, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Turks and Caicos, Anguilla, Aruba, and the Bahamas most likely to be affected. The announcement was made amid mounting concerns about new, likely more contagious variants of COVID-19. What's more, it is now mandatory for travelers to quarantine in a hotel at their own expense when they arrive in Canada. In addition to the pre-boarding test Canada already requires, the government will be introducing mandatory PCR testing at the airport for people returning to Canada. Travelers will then have to wait for up to 3 days at an approved hotel for their test results at their own expense, which is expected to be more than 2,000 Canadian dollars, Trudeau said. Those with negative test results will then be able to quarantine at home under significantly increased surveillance and enforcement. The Prime Minister said those with positive tests will be immediately required to quarantine in designated government facilities to make sure they're not carrying variants of particular concern. Trudeau also said the government and Canada's main airlines have agreed to suspend services to some destinations right away. He said Air Canada, WestJet, Sunwing, and Air Transat are cancelling air services to all Caribbean destinations and Mexico, starting Sunday until April 30th. They will be making arrangements with their customers who are currently on a trip in these regions to organize their return flights, Trudeau said. He said starting next week, all international passenger flights must land at the following 4 airports: Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, Montreal. We will also in the coming weeks be requiring non-essential travelers to show a negative test before entry at the land border with the U.S., and we are working to stand up additional testing requirements for land travel, Trudeau said. Canada already requires those entering the country to self-isolate for 14 days and to present a negative COVID-19 test taken within 3 days before arrival. The move to require a hotel stay upon return would discourage vacations, as people would not want to have to quarantine at a hotel at their own expense upon return. It's excellent. It's a shame it's this late. This is something they could have done ages ago, said Dr. Andrew Morris, a professor of infectious diseases at the University of Toronto and the medical director of the Antimicrobial Stewardship Program at Sinai University Health Network. This is definitely a step in the right direction. More and more governments are thinking about ways to be more aggressive because of the new variants, delays in vaccines, the challenges with getting the population vaccinated, and the strains on healthcare systems. Ontario, Canada's most populous province, was posed to make COVID-19 testing mandatory at Toronto's Pearson International Airport for all incoming international travelers, according to two officials familiar with the matter. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity, as they were not authorized to speak about it ahead of an announcement later Friday by Ontario's Premier. Curfew extended in sections of Norwood St. James. The curfew that was imposed in sections of Norwood St. James has been extended and is to remain in effect until 7 p.m. on Sunday, January 31st. The boundaries of the curfew are as follows. North. Along an imaginary line approximately 1,143 meters from East Atlantic Drive to Rough Road at the eastern boundary. East. Along an imaginary line approximately 450 meters from Rough Road to the vegetated area in the vicinity of Mahoney Close and Pimento Drive at the southern boundary. South. Along an imaginary line approximately 1,095 meters from the vegetated area in the vicinity of Mahoney Close and Pimento Drive to Hart Boulevard at the western boundary. West. Along an imaginary line approximately 1,127 meters from Hart Boulevard to East Atlantic Drive to the northern boundary. During the hours of the curfew, all persons within the boundaries are required to remain within their premises, unless otherwise authorized in writing by the ground commander. Jamaican deportee among 3 men charged after high-speed chase with U.S. Border Patrol. A Jamaican man, along with 2 other men who illegally crossed the border from Canada into the United States, were arrested after a high-speed chase with law enforcement personnel near Montana in the U.S. last Saturday. The trio appeared in a U.S. court on Thursday and have been remanded in police custody in that country. The Jamaican 41-year-old Christopher White, along with Rastesfe Alpha Neal, 39, of Washington, D.C., and 32-year-old Afra Ahmed Abdi of Virginia, USA, were all slapped with immigration-related charges. According to a statement from the U.S. Department of Justice, the criminal complaints accuse White of being an alien in the United States after deportation, Neal of transporting certain aliens, and Abdi of improper entry by alien. It was reported that on Saturday, January 23rd, at about 8:55 a.m., the Spokane Sector Border Patrol dispatch received information that 3 men dressed in camouflage and dark clothing and carrying black backpacks were crossing the border from Canada into the United States near the area of West Kootenai, Montana. Border Patrol agents located a Nissan Sentra motorcar on West Kootenai Road, leaving the area where the 3 subjects had crossed into the United States. The agents attempted to conduct a vehicle stop, and the Nissan was pulled over to the side of the road. But as the agents approached the vehicle on foot, the Nissan was driven away, heading southeast on a highway. Law enforcement ultimately deployed a vehicle immobilization device on the Nissan, and it came to a stop down a small embankment off the highway near Whitefish, Montana. The trio was subsequently arrested and later charged. U.S. Magistrate Judge John T. Johnston on Thursday ordered all 3 men remanded pending further court proceedings. Father sodomizes his 6-year-old son to death with a stick and pulls his teeth out with pliers for eating cake. An Arkansas father abused his 6-year-old son for years, ultimately killing him during a family camping trip. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette reports that Mauricio Alejandro Torres was arrested in April 2015 for the death of his son, Maurice Isaiah Torres. According to officials, Isaiah died after Torres used a stick to sodomize the boy during a family camping trip in Missouri. A medical examiner testified that Isaiah was physically abused for years and ultimately died after a bacterial infection caused by rectal trauma. This child died as a result of chronic child abuse, Assistant Medical Examiner Dr. Stephen Erickson said. Torres' first murder trial was overturned after Arkansas Supreme Court ruled in a 4-3 decision that he should be granted a new trial. Torres cried when his 12-year-old daughter took the stand and testified against him. The girl said she witnessed both Torres and her mother, Kathy Torres, treat Isaiah differently than his twin sister. He was never given cake or presents on his birthday, while his sister celebrated. While she and her sister received gifts and stockings for Christmas, Isaiah received nothing. The girl said her father would routinely beat Isaiah, make him sleep in a dog cage, and feed him rice and beans or peanut butter while the family ate home-cooked meals or restaurant food. She said she watched her parents beat the boy with sticks, shoes, and cables. The girl said she too hit Isaiah with a stick when her parents told her to, because she was afraid she would get in trouble if she did not. During one incident, the girl witnessed her parents scrubbing Isaiah before Torres poured bleach on him. The little boy ended up in the hospital afterward. She also testified that she saw her father put a stick between Isaiah's legs and pull his teeth out with pliers. Torres took the stand and said that his wife Kathy was the one who sodomized the boy with a stick, CBS 5 reports. He claimed his wife also did most of the beatings after she never connected emotionally with Isaiah. Yet, during an interview with Bella Vista Police Captain Tim Cook on April 7, 2015, Torres admitted that he placed a stick in the boy's rectum at least twice and made him do squats for eating cake. He said his wife, however, forced the boy to squat down on the stick, causing fatal injuries. Cook asked him, "Who raped Isaiah?" Torres responded, "Not me." Cook asked, "Who did it then?" Torres downplayed his involvement in Isaiah's death. He said he was only guilty by association and that Kathy Torres doled out most of the punishment. Kathy Torres said during her 2017 murder trial that she hardly ever punished her son, but admitted she didn't do anything while her husband abused him. In 2015, authorities with the Bella Vista and Bentonville police departments searched the camper trailer the family used during the Missouri camping trip. Inside, they found blood spatter throughout the camper and bloodstains on a mattress. Jurors learned that at the time of the boy's death, he had a broken nose and numerous wounds, both old and new, on his head, arms, back, and legs. Several missing teeth had been either knocked out or pulled out, according to Erickson's testimony. The jury took around 6 hours to find Torres guilty of rape and murder. Torres faces either the death penalty or life behind bars. The jury took around 6 hours to find Torres guilty of rape and murder. Torres faces either the death penalty or life behind bars. Kathy Torres was previously convicted of murder in the case. She's serving a life sentence after taking a plea deal.